So you're not going to be able to see my face, but we're going to go through this lesson because Miss Sparks needs the computer to show us. She can't go back and forth. All right. So yesterday we talked about our schema, what we already know. So remember, our schema is in our head, what we already know about a topic. And we're talking about globes and maps. Yesterday we talked about that globes are round and maps are flat. We use maps in the car to get us someplace, maybe the toy store, maybe the grocery store, maybe a place we've never been. We can also have maps on our phones. We also said that we already knew was that our schema, that we know that maps are a bird's eye view from up above. And this was our globe. So our globe shows our whole earth as opposed to our map that just shows a specific place. All right, so we are going to go through our book today. And our book is called Maps Are Flat, Globes Are Round, which we already knew that. So our schema is what we already knew. Here's this great thing about schema. Our schema always changes. Our schema changes because we keep learning new things, so we keep adding to our schema. So I want you, as I read through this, to think about something that you learned, to add to your schema, to change it a little bit. So as I read through, I want you to think about something that you learned that you did not already know about maps and globes. All right. A map is flat. We already knew that. A map has colors like green or blue. Oh, I think I knew that too. A map always gives us a bird's eye view. We talked about that because we had that bird on our other schema page. A globe is round, so it sits on a stand. Okay, makes sense. Didn't know what a stand was, but I think I can learn something a little bit better. Turn it around to see oceans and land. Oh, see, all the blue is ocean and then the land are different colors. There are many different types of maps, big ones and little ones, just for our laps. Okay, now I think we're getting somewhere. There are many different kinds of maps. I wonder who uses these maps. Street maps show us where to drive cars. Okay, so here we go. We have our street maps. Maybe you didn't know that there were different types of maps and that a street map is one of them. Astronomers use a map of the stars. Wow, I don't really know what astronomers is. So I see that it is a bold word, which is one of our keywords. But I also see a little girl, she's looking out into the space. So I can either look in my glossary, but I can also use the clues that the author gave me on the page, like the pictures, the photographs. So I know it has something to do with space and stars, but let me just check. I'm going to go to the back of the book. Astronomers are people who study objects in outer space. Astronomers use maps of the stars, telescopes, and computers to study the universe. Oh, we were so correct. All right, so astronomers use a map of the stars. I didn't know that. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. Divers use maps to explore the ocean floor. These are examples of divers. I didn't know that either. So many things I'm learning right now. You might use one to find a toy store. That is very important. If you like to hike, walk, or roam, a map or globe will get you home. So finding your way on a map, if you're lost, it's always a good thing to have a map. Okay, so I'm going to think about, what did I learn? So the coolest thing that I learned, that astronomers use a map of the stars, because I knew in my schema that maps were flat, but I didn't know who used them. I didn't know who used them. I knew that they were used to find like places that you've never been before, but I never thought that astronomers, the people who study the night sky, use the stars. So our activity is we're going to go in, it says Wednesday, what did you learn? So Miss Sparks is going to model how we do this. So we're going to get a sticky note, and you can have whatever color sticky note you want. And Miss Sparks is going to type what she learned. So I learned that it says his name, ers use, you says its name, use maps to study the stars. So I gotta have my period. So make sure we have a space in between this. So this is what I learned. So remember, when we have our schema, it's always changing. We add to it. So I learned that astronomers use maps to study the stars. I'm gonna click save. And I'm gonna cancel because I don't need any more. And look, here is what I learned. So I learned that astronomers use maps to study the stars. That's what I learned. I built on top of my schema that I knew that maps were flat and that they also were used to find new places, but I didn't know that they could be used to study the stars, and astronomers use them. So I've added that to my schema. Now I'm going to draw a picture. So I'm going to use my background and put it as black. Miss Sparks already did it, so it's not like it's magic. But Miss Sparks did it, so she has the stars. She also has the moon because, we've been learning about this too, that the moon is in the nighttime sky, not the daylight, the nighttime. So what you're going to do is you're going to write a sentence saying what you learned on a Post-it, and remember, you click this button right here, and then you type it and press OK. So just spelling those words out. You can use my sentence stem as I learned that, and make sure you have your period, doing your capital letters, and then drawing a picture of what you learned. So we had our schema, we added to our schema, so we changed our schema, so we know even more about maps. I cannot wait to see what everybody learned.